In a small village nestled among lush green hills, there lived a boy who had been blind since birth. Though his eyes could not see the light, his heart and soul held a special gift, the ability to tell stories. His tales were not merely words, but mental paintings woven from emotion, imagination, and deep understanding of life. Villagers, whenever they listened, felt warmth, wisdom, and moral lessons carried gently in every sentence. Yet even such talent could not save him from loneliness. The children of the village did not see his worth. They noticed only his blindness. Instead of befriending him, they mocked, laughed at him, and even played cruel tricks to make him stumble. "Look at that blind boy telling stories about things he's never seen," they sneered. Every harsh word was like a sharp blade cutting deep into his tender heart. At night, while everyone slept, he lay awake in darkness, wondering, why was I born like this? Does my life hold any meaning if I exist only to be laughed at? Pain and confusion swelled within him, making him believe he was useless, a burden to the world. Despite his gift, he remained abandoned in solitude, and his belief in himself slowly faded away. During those long days of ridicule and isolation, sadness grew within the blind boy like a shadow that would not leave. Each cruel word from the village children became another stab, making his heart bleed. Each night he wrestled with despair, asking himself why fate had made him blind and whether his life had meaning beyond being a source of mockery. No answer came, only silence, only hopelessness. One morning, when pain had risen beyond what he could bear, he decided to end everything. With a small stick in his hand, he slowly felt his way toward the river at the edge of the village. In his mind, the river would wash away his suffering, would grant freedom from a life filled with cruelty. Every step felt heavier than the last, his heart sinking under the belief that he was worthless and had no reason to continue living. The river appeared before him like a final boundary. In that moment, he longed only for peace in the water, an end to his brief but painful journey. As the blind boy approached the river, ready to surrender his life, a sound suddenly stirred beneath the old banyan tree, the rustling of leaves in the wind. Beneath that tree sat a monk in a saffron robe, glowing softly in the morning light. Sensing the boy's sorrow, the monk opened his eyes and spoke gently. "Child, I feel the suffering in your heart. Come here and sit with me." The tender voice startled the boy. It had been so long since anyone had spoken to him with kindness. Trembling, he walked forward, tapping the ground with his stick, and sat beside the monk. When asked about his pain, the boy burst into tears, telling everything. His blindness, his feeling of worthlessness, the gift no one understood, the mockery, the loneliness, and the decision to seek death. The monk listened with compassion, without interruption, letting the boy's emotions flow like a broken dam. When the boy finished, the monk smiled gently and said, "You are not useless. I will tell you a story, and perhaps you will understand it more deeply than anyone else." It was the beginning of a lesson about a crooked tree in the forest, a story that would change the boy's life forever. In the story the monk told, there was a dense forest where countless tall, straight, proud trees stood. They often boasted about their perfect shapes and mocked a crooked tree with a twisted trunk and uneven branches. Each day, the crooked tree endured the scorn. "We are tall and beautiful, but you are nothing but shame to the forest." Sadness made the crooked tree wish to be like the others, believing its difference was a curse. Then one day, woodcutters arrived. They surveyed every tree and commanded, "Cut down all the straight trees. We need timber for boards." One by one, the proud trees fell, their perfect bodies reduced to lumber. The crooked tree alone remained, spared because its shape was too twisted to be useful. What it once believed a flaw became the reason it survived. Uncut and untouched, it continued to grow, becoming a sanctuary for birds and small creatures. From that moment, the crooked tree understood that its difference was not a weakness, but a source of life, strength, and purpose. After finishing the story, the monk looked at the blind boy with gentle eyes and said, "You see, what you think is a flaw may be your greatest strength." The boy asked in surprise, "But master, I cannot see. How can blindness be strength?" The monk smiled softly. "When you tell stories, you do not see with your eyes, you see with your heart. You feel emotion, truth, and meaning beyond appearance. That is why your stories touch people deeply." The monk continued, Those children who mocked you, they see only the surface. Though their eyes work, their hearts are blind to kindness and wisdom. You, though unable to see with sight, perceive deeper than they ever could. That is your gift. He reminded the boy that no one is perfect. Even the strong have weaknesses, and sometimes cruelty is the greatest weakness of all. Meanwhile, the boy's blindness could become power, helping him become a storyteller who awakened compassion within the village. After hearing the monk's teaching, it was as if light arose within the blind boy's heart. Despair slowly dissolved, replaced by understanding. His difference was a blessing. From that day, he no longer cursed fate or belittled himself. When other children mocked him, he remembered the crooked tree standing firm in the forest, surviving the axe, and he felt strength rise inside. He continued telling stories from the heart, no longer shaken by ridicule. Over time, villagers with kindness and insight came to listen, learning from the lessons hidden in his words. His gift brought joy, planted seeds of wisdom, and taught others to live with compassion and to value uniqueness. Years passed, and the blind boy became the most respected teacher in the village. People no longer saw him as a disabled child, but as a wellspring of knowledge and kindness. His blindness, once deemed a curse, became the very power that helped him shine. The story of the blind boy and the crooked tree does not end with his transformation alone. It carries lessons for every one of us. First, it reminds that no one is perfect. Those who seem strong or flawless still bear hidden weaknesses. Perfection is illusion. True worth lies in how we live and how we face ourselves. Second, it teaches that difference is something to cherish. What sets us apart may be our greatest treasure. Like the blind boy who sees with his heart, like the crooked tree that becomes refuge for countless lives, uniqueness creates irreplaceable value. Third, it shows that comparison only breeds suffering. Measuring ourselves against others leads to inferiority or arrogance. Each life has its own path. Happiness comes from accepting who we are. And finally, it reveals that every circumstance holds two sides, strength and weakness. Look deeply and you will see that within what seems a flaw lies hidden power and possibility.